the worst flooding to hit Nigeria in the last 10 years. According to data gotten from the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, World Food Programme, and Telema Research, Nigeria currently has the largest number of people hit by flooding among 19 African countries. States most hit by the flood include Anambra, Bayelsa, Benue, Cross River, Delta, and River States. This flooding has been majorly attributed to the release of water from the Cameroonian Lagdo Dam, which affected Nigeria because of its lack of a flood defense mechanism. Upon the arrival of New Central crew, we were told that the water had started receding. People here had lost properties worth billions of naira to the floods. Prince Will, who lives in Omok, explains how different this flooding is compared to that of 2012.
Having experienced the 2012, we felt it's either going to be like that or even less. No one expected it was going to be this much. This one was quite overwhelming, like we didn't see it coming. A lot of persons were unable to move their properties, unlike the 2012 when they had the time to move. Even as I'm speaking to you, I have over 5 persons in my own house. My parents' house, there are 17 persons staying there because of this same flood.
Homes, businesses, schools, and even churches, among others, were affected by the flood. As the water slowly dries up, some of the residents of Krigene return to salvage what they can. We hear that this church was almost completely submerged. It's one of the places that was heavily hit by the flood in this community. Getting through the floods in here is even quite difficult. But they say that the waters have really receded, so one can only imagine how bad it was initially when the flood hit.
When the flood hit the church, most of our instruments got spoiled, mostly our speakers. In fact, almost everything we have got spoiled. If you look inside the church, we have to pack some of the things on the altar. Yet, it's not even safe. Our need right now is how we can repair our instruments so that the church can worship well.
As many residents of Krigene temporarily abandoned the place they called home for years, others went to stay with family members and friends. But for the flood victims who have nowhere else to go, St. Stephen's Primary School, Omok, remains the temporary resettlement camp. What you can see behind me are people who just a few weeks ago had their homes, had their own money, had their own supplies, lived well. But now a bell was rung just a few minutes ago, and these people who were satisfied and okay are now taking stuff that was brought to them by some good Samaritans. We saw clothes being brought out from bags, we saw food items, we saw all kinds of supplies that people could use. You know, this school has been shut down for about a week or two, and it's now used as a camp. It hurts to even call it an IDP camp, internally displaced persons camp. Several relief materials have been donated by the River State government and private agencies, but as the impact of the flood worsened, obviously the materials became insufficient. The campers say they need clothing, potable water, mattresses, mosquito nets, medicine, and above all, more food. This is the cooking area that has been allocated to the campers who have come to seek refuge in this community following the devastation that the flood has done to their community. They say that they are grateful to what the government and other NGOs have done. They thank all the well-meaning Nigerians who have provided food, water, clothing, and other relief materials. But of course, we know that it is not enough. At a point while conducting this report, some kind of confusion was noticed in the camp as a young pregnant lady was in labor and about to give birth. This would be the 3rd delivery in this camp since it was open. Without medical personnel on the ground and lack of medical equipment, the lives of both the mother and the child were at risk. The lady finally put to bed, but the premature baby did not survive. She was just 5 months pregnant. The lady is eventually taken into a tricycle to the nearest health center. The economic impact of the flood is another story to tell. More often than not, when disasters like this hit communities, it is those who engage in small businesses that are affected the most. Also, in Ahoda local government area of River State, some goods sellers explained to us how challenging the flood has made business become.
We have experienced this thing from last month. So we are here on top of, we are just here suffering because of the flood. But we don't know where to go, but we are just still managing. The way we come with enough good, but because of the flood, we don't come with enough good again. because the east-west road here has been blocked. So our market now always comes towards the Enugu route down to Aba and Port Harcourt.
It has really caused a big concern to us, of which we don't know what to do and how to battle it up. And secondly, we were even looking forward at least for assistance, but thank God today we have some personality from the government that attended to us.
So far, donations have been made to flood victims from groups and politicians including the presidential candidates of the All Progressives Congress and the Labour Party, Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Peter Obi, who both donated 100 million naira and 5 million naira respectively to people suffering flooding. The United States also made a donation of $1 million.
We are filled with grief for the flood victims who have lost so much, livelihoods, homes, and even loved ones. Millions are displaced and face the risk of cholera and other waterborne diseases. The road to rebuilding is not going to be easy, but the United States will be there alongside you, the people of Nigeria, at this difficult time.
But besides talking about the plight of the people in this community and others who have been affected by the flooding, economists say Nigeria may be heading for a food crisis. Acres of farmland have been destroyed and food production has been affected. As the year gradually draws to an end, food consumption is expected to increase. Already, products like rice have nearly doubled in price in the past 1 month. The fear is that if nothing is done with immediate alacrity, Nigeria may just be heading for a crisis of food insecurity. Bernard Akede, reporting for News Central.